Hey, everybody, Economic Ninja. I hope you're doing great. By the looks of what's going on behind me, Russia cares that they have gold and silver in their position. See? Oh, wait. Oh, crap. I hate this. Gold, silver. It's funny because you see photos like this of Russian leaders and Chinese leaders taking photos with gold. You don't see that in the West. You don't see that, Jerome Powell or the president of the United States are walking around with a gold bar going, this is sweet. No, you see them peddling fiat crap. You also don't see the same thing really in the EU because they don't want you to know that it's a big Ponzi scheme and it's about to come down. Now, I brought on Mario Stefano from Galantas Gold. You guys know that I own the stock. I'm a big proponent of this company. This isn't me trying to tell you to buy or sell this security or any other security. I'm not a financial advisor, but I invested in it, and we're going to talk a little bit about it after we talk about Russia, because that's the big story today. Mario, how are you doing? What's going on with Russia and the gold?
Well, thanks, Ninja, for having me on again. I really appreciate it. And yeah, I mean, looking at that image, you're clearly seeing an economic war that's been occurring, and I've been saying that for some time. And what's interesting, I think, is, and you just alluded to it now, Russia, China, India, even Turkey, everyone seems to be acquiring physical precious metals. Gold is the key here, and also you're seeing some silver as well. But all these countries have been accumulating gold to back up their reserves. And I think the key driver in all of this, as you pointed to, the fiat currencies, the amount of debt that the Western economies, and keep in mind, the Western economies, represent a fraction of the overall population in the world, but the amount of debt the Western economies have taken on to drive their economies, but you can't repay it now.
Yep.
And I think China, Russia, India, everyone seems to know that. Even Brazil. That's why you're getting this BRICS, and even Saudi Arabia. I mean, Saudi Arabia has been, a big proponent of gold, because I remember during my lakeshore days, Saudi Arabia has always been trying to accumulate gold. So, the Western world's moved away from gold, but I think the rest of the world is realizing the importance of gold. And I think you mentioned earlier, premiums.
Yep.
It is getting tough to get physical gold.
Yep. The physical is getting tougher to get. The COMEX is being drained slowly but surely. Both physical silver and gold are being drained. Premiums are going up. And then look at this. Now I want to bring you on because you are positioned in Europe right now.
Yep.
And so I think there's going to be a big turnaround soon. But look at what's going on with the rhetoric. There's a huge pot of gold. Poland says Russia should pay to rebuild Ukraine. You are seeing over and over again countries in the EU push this narrative of, you know what, we've got a hold of some of Russia's money and their physical gold. Let's take it and give it to the Ukraine, right? Again, trying to take the wealth, real true wealth, gold from a country, and now mismanage it and go give it to another country because they want to push their geopolitical thoughts and ambitions on the masses, right?
Yeah.
Now, we were talking right before this video about what Russia just did, or Russia's, they haven't given a response yet. But the EU is just throwing out this rhetoric, these shots across the bow. How do you see Europe right now? Because they're sort of a basket case. Great Britain is, the pound is collapsing. The euro is a basket case because of energy non-independence and hyperinflation. Where do you see this narrative starting to turn as Europe literally goes down the toilet?
Look, I'm starting to get more as I see that headline. Physical gold is going to become a big premium here, and you alluded to the energy crisis. It's not getting any better. I know gas prices are going down in Europe. This is a short-term blip, because today I read Saudi Arabia. One of the ministers there was saying, selling strategic reserves to manipulate the short-term price of oil was not what strategic reserves were there for. They were there for emergencies, and I can see it now that once they stop selling from the strategic reserves, I will bet you something's going to happen where supply is going to go down. Something's going to go down magically in the Middle East, and it's going to cause some huge issues. And the financial burden that all of us in the West have, whether it's Europe, the US, is going to put a huge squeeze on our economies, and gold is going to be at a huge premium. And I'm almost trying to think now. Look, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but sometimes things get kind of in my head. When I saw that, and I'm sure we've all read about the paper trail and the derivatives off of physical gold, and there is becoming a premium that we're all talking about now. Premiums are starting to increase quite significantly on gold. I'm almost wondering if this is a way to take some of the gold away from Russia to help with the physical side of things, right?
Yes.
Because, if this derivative market collapses on gold, gold's going to go through the roof. So they
Yes.
need to find physical gold. And maybe
Well,
this is a way for them to get that physical gold.
Mario, you gave me a great thought, actually, because if you think about it, the EU is talking about giving it to Ukraine, but they won't actually send gold bars that Russia owned
No,
over them. You know what
no,
they're going to do? Just like World War II, like the Fed
yeah,
did. Oh, no, we're going to hold it for you. Because
yeah,
that is, you are 100% right, because the LBMA is getting drained so fast and
exactly.
so vigorously that they are freaking out. Dad, I didn't even see. I like that. You
Yeah,
really made me think, because they're not
yeah,
going to, they're going to go,
yeah,
essentially, we're not going to hand you the bars. We don't trust you with that. Come on, you're Ukraine. You
yeah,
screw things up all
yeah,
the time, just like Poland.
yeah,
Poland's like, I got
yeah,
an opinion. Who cares about
yeah,
your opinion? You guys always
yeah,
fail. My point being is that you
yeah,
take that money and you go, we're going to keep it on record with the LBMA, and then we're gonna loan you a credit line against it, because again,
exactly.
that's attached to debt, which is owed back with interest.
Yeah, exactly. And the physical market for gold is getting quite difficult to find gold, and I suspect it's going to get worse and worse. This is not a short-term scenario. That this is an economic war,
Yep, I
and
completely agree.
China, Russia, they are going to continue pushing, and I'm sure they smell the vulnerability of the Western world right now. And I even saw something in China today that they're going to focus on internal consumption for their
Yep,
consumers. Right, they want less reliance now on the United States and Europe, for their economies, and
yep,
they know what could happen. Right, anytime there are sanctions being put onto China or Russia or anywhere else in the world, the only way to beat it is to remove your reliance on the Western system, and you're seeing it step by step. And oil is going to have, like, as you and I were saying, removing this gold from Russia
yep.
may be their short-term strategy to help with the physical demand that you're starting to see all over the world now for gold, and it's only going to pick up.
Yeah. Well, let me do this. I want to share a screen, because everybody, I was saying earlier, I invested in your company a while back, but I really
Yeah,
went
thank you for that,
bigger.
Ninja.
I know, I love it, because I was talking to a handful of people that I really respect in the community, and they like this stock. As a matter of fact, some very well-known investors around the world that like this stock and have invested in it. So I jumped in. Right now, I'm going to show you something
Yeah,
today. CNBC, as of right now, the filming of this, gold is up $3. Who cares, right? Doesn't
yeah,
change the world.
yeah.
But right now, and we talk about leverage. Oh my gosh, Galantas Gold is down. It's down huge,
Mhm.
6.5%. This is what I want to show people, is I always want to teach people something. So to off, again, not a solicitation to buy or sell any equity, but I want to show you what I'm doing and what I'm thinking, my investor brain. Okay. This is a 1 day chart. Here's a 1 year pullback of this stock. It has not done anything. And people are like, well, then why would you talk about this, Ninja? This is actually a good thing for me. This means there's a lot of stability in the shareholder base that are the float. Very low volumes, which again, be careful of low volumes, guys, because the order book, very important. But for 1 year, for all this time, Galantas Gold was an exploration company until about the beginning of August. When did you guys go from exploration to producer?
Yeah, so we started exactly. We started doing our mining. It was really towards the end of Q3,
Okay.
and we're ramping up our production. And to your point now, the more I think about that, I'm getting even more excited as CEO of Galantas, because we're producing in Europe. We're one of the only gold producers, or one of the few gold producers in Europe, rather.
Yep.
We're going to be able to deliver physical gold into the marketplace, which is going to be critical for, I think, going forward, as you and I just chatted about. And
Yep.
Galantas, I think, apart from being a production story, which we're going to ramp up our production, which I'm quite excited about, we're just scratching the surface of the amount of gold we think we have on this. And I think one of the reasons why we have such a great investor base here, Ninja, is 20 miles away from us is Dalradian, which is a 6 million ounce deposit at 13 grams.
Yeah.
And we know that's much bigger today because they continue to drill over the last 4 years, but it's a private company right now. But they're not in production. We are.
Yeah.
And we're on
Totally.
the same trend. We're hitting some great drill results. We just issued more drill results the other day.
I saw that.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
excited that, look, I'm pretty excited that we're going to continue to find quite a bit of gold here. And
Well, this is what I want to show some people, Mario. I mean, look at the volume, and this is why I want to teach people, because the Lassonde curve is very important.
Yeah.
The Lassonde curve tells the lifespan or the life cycle and the stock performance of a exploration company that goes into production. And you've seen a volume spike in the last couple of months, and that is,
Yeah.
I believe, attributed to, and this isn't financial advice, to them moving from exploration
Yes,
to producing. So now there's some income
exactly.
coming in. And like you said, there's a lot of stuff that hasn't been, you're not at full production, all that kind of stuff now, but that's what's really neat. And what we were talking about beforehand, Europe, at a certain point, you got to try and buy physical, but at a certain point, it becomes too expensive and too costly for governments. They need to grab
Yeah,
paper. Well, what's the easiest way to
yeah,
grab paper? Gold. Yeah, you could do ETFs, but actually the governments know it's all fake. You go into mines. And so that's why I've been positioning myself. And that's why I just wanted to explain to people, Mario, is that's why I positioned
yep,
myself with a handful of companies, yours being one of them, because I want to diversify. I don't want to
yep,
go all in. I want to nibble because, we were talking about the float and how low the volumes are. We want to keep this a steady burn. We want to educate people as things
yeah,
happen and your company grows, correct?
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And it's something else came to mind. I love our conversations because you and I always share ideas. And
Yep.
looking at that picture again in Europe, one thing one of the countries that's part of NATO is Turkey.
Yes.
And one thing that's quite interesting, and I'm hearing it, and I'm seeing it firsthand, is Turkey is getting extraordinarily aggressive now in trying to find gold, physical gold, and gold producers. So their view now is any company in Europe that has gold, they want to invest in,
Wow.
and it's coming from government, it's coming from their intermediaries. This is now becoming more and more interesting because we do know Turkey is in constant conversations with Russia. I'm really curious now why, as you pointed out, with Poland wanting the physical gold from Russia, and I think the physical is there's something's going to be happening over the next 6 to 12 months. We don't know yet, but there's going to
Yeah.
be a huge demand for physical gold coming up. That's sort of my feeling here
And
now.
and Poland actually also wants reparations. I can't even pronounce the word right. So from like World War II. So there are
Yeah,
countries losing their minds right now. So
yeah,
do
yeah.
you promise that if you hear anyone calling you up and saying, "Hey, interested, I'm from a government or another country and I want to invest," you're going to call me first, right?
Oh, I definitely will, Ninja,
All right,
for sure.
that
But
would
we
be
know there's gonna be a huge demand for physical gold that's going to be coming here. I think you nailed it on this interview.
yeah. Thank you so much, Mario, for coming on, guys. I'm going to put a link to Mario's website, Galantas Gold, so you guys can take a look at it. Again, go slowly, be cautious. I want this to be a good experience. We're buying assets when everybody hates them. Ironically, the common man and woman hate them. But right now, central banks and governments are buying gold. And that's where I want to be. That's where I want to position myself. It's not sexy now, but you just wait. Hey, Mario, thanks so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ninja. I appreciate it too.
All right, guys, that being said, the Economic Ninja is out.